Welcome back to the Wine Crush. I'm Laura Lawson, and you're listening to the show that's all about the grape and all its glory. Today we are talking about taste, whether you have it, how you can find it, and where you can slowly learn to identify yours. Right now we are very fortunate, though. We are joined by a true taste setter. We are joined by Mr. Anthony Terlato. He is the chairman of the Terlato Wine Group, and in the past 50 years he has done everything from retail to distribute it to import. The man has seen and done it all. So on that note, Anthony, welcome to the Wine Crush.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a delight to have you on the show. It is so much fun. We had certainly hoped to get someone on the show to talk about your book, but we didn't think we'd be fortunate enough to get you.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Well, today we are talking about taste on the Crush, so you just kind of fit in so perfectly, and there's a lot of avenues we want to go down, but I want to ask you real quick, why did you name your memoir Taste?
I think because all through my life, one of the things that I learned was tasting blind, not knowing what I was drinking and tried to identify the quality of the wine. And we still do that today. Whenever we taste wines, we never know what we're tasting. And my father told me a long time ago in the retail store, don't ever try to pick what the wine is, just try to evaluate it.
I think that's great advice for anyone trying to get into wine and trying to learn wine. And I also like your rationale. When you look about wine versus life, I guess in day-to-day, we're all tasting blind trying to get through the day.
That's really true.
Well, I have a question. As we look through and we talk about consumers, and we're hoping that everyone out there is going to go out and taste something different, with so many of choices of wine in the market, how does a consumer make a choice? If they can't taste the wine, how do they go ahead and decide which wine?
Well, over these years, I've had that question asked numerous times, and when we became a wine producer in 1996, I realized that I needed to be able to articulate that. And the determination I made was there are two types of drinkers in the world. One of them is a commodity. Wine is a commodity. Grapes are grown, crushed, wine is made, and then it's sold cheaply and consumed uncritically. In this instance, the consumer views wine very much the same way that they view milk or fruit juice or instant coffee. As long as the quality is adequate and the price is right, they aren't worried about the source.
Okay.
This attitude accounts for a majority of people. Secondly, the other drinker is there's wine that's purchased and consumed not because of the price, but because of interest.
Okay.
This interest stems from the fact that there's such a diversity in wine types that there are wines that are able to express their geographical origins in a finished product. Now, let me explain that. What's crucial here is that it begins with the grapes. Unlike beer or whiskey, where agriculture, wheat and barley, is minimal, in wine, it's best viewed as a process of craftsmanship rather than of manufacturing. So the diversity is what makes wine very interesting. If you divorce wine from its geographical origins, wine is only marginally more interesting than milk, fruit juice, or instant coffee. What makes wine so interesting is how diverse it is. So you want to know, where does it come from? Where is it grown? Who's the winemaker? That's what makes it interesting. Whereas when you're drinking instant coffee, those things don't come to your mind so quickly.
So when you talk about
these two types of wine drinkers,
when you talk about diversity, you're not just talking about grape varietal. You're talking about regions as well. Then
exactly.
Okay.
A Cabernet from Australia, for example, a Cabernet from Napa Valley, and a Cabernet from Alexander Valley are different. The soil is different. The vine is a pump, and it gets its nutrients from the soil. So whatever is in the soil is going to appear in the fruit.
Well, how can someone know, with all the great, and we are very fortunate to be living in the times we are, there is amazing diversity in all the products that are out there. How does someone who is looking to find that neat niche where they know that they're going to love and their particular type of diversity, how do they learn that? How do they find that?
Well, what I suggest to people is start. If you want to learn about wine, start drinking the wines that are authentic and honest.
I like that.
Learn what the real thing is. What genuine wine? So, place and varietal. So, in other words, I would suggest to somebody, get a Cabernet Sauvignon from Stag's Leap District. Okay, it's a great district for Cabernet Sauvignon. Drink a Pinot Noir from Russian River. because Pinot Noir thrives in Russian River. Drink a Merlot from Rutherford, because Merlot thrives in the Rutherford area. So learn what the real thing is. Now you've set the bar. You know what is authentic and real. From there on, you can drink anything you want. Make first the idea, what do you like, Pinot Noir, Merlot, or Cabernet? Of course, there's Shiraz and a number of others, but try to pick the varietal that you like the best. That, for me, is the beginning. But make sure that when you're tasting that varietal, it comes from the best place possible. If you're going to do this country, I would do Stag's Leap, Russian River. If you're going to do Bordeaux, I would do Pauillac and Saint-Estèphe and Saint-Emilion. If you really, that's the beginning with what's authentic and true. And that's where you should start. So now at least you know what that is.
Exactly.
You don't have to like it, but you have to know that this is what the real thing is.
So once I actually know what's authentic, I know what's true, and what it exactly is supposed to be in the bottle and the ground, if I want to go and be a commodity drinker after that, I'm fine, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have the bar is set. If you're going to drink Cabernet Sauvignon, you know what the best ones taste like. Whether you like them or not, it's like, for example, Chateau Yquem. So it's the greatest Sauterne in the world, without any question, maybe the greatest Bordeaux. And somebody could say, well, I don't like it, but that's okay. But you know what the best tastes like, so you go from there.
Exactly. You cannot say that you don't like it until you've tried it. Like your mom told you all, just try it. If you don't like it, you'll never have to do it again.
My mom told me the same thing. You got to taste it.
Fair enough. Well, something we've been talking about, of course, when you look at taste, tell our listeners briefly where they can go and find the extent of your portfolio, what your website is, so they can realize how encompassing your company is.
Well, Terlato Wines International is the website, so they could see the products, the wines that we make, the wines that we import, with the importers of Angelo Gaius